About a year ago, we were told that our perfectly healthy, happy 6-year-old daughter, totally normal girl, we were told she had 8 to 10 months to live. And it was massive, you know. It's literally your worst nightmare. It's literally what your nightmares are made out of, is losing your children. And she was diagnosed with DIPG, which is basically a terminal condition. It's a tumor that's in the back of the brain, and it controls things like breathing, chewing, all these kind of blinking, all these autonomous things that you don't really think about. And so it's very difficult to operate on. And we were told, go home, make memories. My husband had to stop working. He had never not worked since he was 16. I was lucky in the fact that I teach online. I work with traumatized and disabled kids. So I had a little bit of kind of experience in that realm. So I was kind of lucky. We just kind of tried to put on a brave face. And what they tell you is, people tell you, oh, be strong, be this, oh, you're so strong. And it's like, if I'm not strong, you don't have any other options. We moved because we knew that we couldn't have our daughter at home. She wanted to stay at home. She was terrified of going to the hospital. All the COVID stuff was still going on. And we moved to a house that was a real fixer-upper so that we could make that a reality. And we've been looking for a new home for 5 years. Needed a lot of work doing to it, but we wanted that. And it gave us something to focus on as a family and to move forward to for her. We kept using the word palliative paradise for my daughter. So just like everyone, we experienced a massive increase in the cost of living. And we're struggling like everybody is. When we started redoing the house, we'd kind of put 30 grand aside to do it. And at the time, when we purchased, it would have been sufficient to cover everything. And that wasn't going to happen when, the housing boomed. And, what would have cost us about 30 grand ended up costing 60 grand, which was massive and a huge amount of money. 30 grand is as well. In the housing boom, you couldn't even get somebody to come over and quote you, much less build anything, And so we were kind of using friends and family who were, small-time workmen, and, they were qualified, but, didn't have massive business. And, it was impossible. It was absolutely impossible. And I remember at one point just crying over this paperwork and the amount of work that you had to do just to give my daughter a bathroom to wash in, just a shower. I wasn't asking for the world. And I finally said to my husband, I said, we're going to divorce over this if we don't just pay for it ourselves. We were looking at options to help Anastasia kind of stay with us for longer. So we tried to find trials, to help her, and none were going on, but they did offer this medication that you had to purchase privately, and it was used in these trials that were going on. Were kind of stopped during COVID, which was called ONC201. And ONC201 is one of the few cancer medications that can it can treat through the blood-brain barrier. So it's one of the few ones that's effective with DIPG. The only problem is that it cost, to buy it from Germany, it cost £1,000, 600, and that was for 1 month of treatment. And on top of that, we then found out that there was a tariff cost of 1,000 quid on top of that. She's over a year now, coming on 13, 14 months now that she's been with us. So she's really burst through that. And we think that's because of the ONC. We think that's because of that medication. We were often using the heating, and we ran out, and the nurses were coming by, her lips were turning blue, we were panicking, trying to call up, whatever supplier we could find to get it out to us as soon as we could. We still had to wait 4 days And, you know, that she was having heating blankets on her, and, you know, we're stoking up the fire, and, you know, she can't take a shower, she can't take a bath, she can't anything. And, you know, her skin is very delicate because it doesn't heal very well right now because she's so poorly. When we ran out of heating oil again, it meant that I think she got an injury because we were trying to heat up the room as quickly as we could. We were using, you know, hot water bottles, and she got a massive blister on her little leg. And because she can't talk, she can't tell us, you know, she was hurt. And we still had to wait, you know, 3 days, and they went faster for us. They did as much as they could, you know, for heating oil, for money that we didn't have, because we've, you know, had to stop paying for her treatment and have started to pay for heating oil. But it's impossible, and it's something everybody's dealing with, you know. They all have to, you know, everybody's facing this. When your child's dying, and you're just trying to make them comfortable, you're just trying to make them safe, you're just trying to keep them, you know, happy, healthy. And, you know, right now she's got a massive injury on her foot. And I know that's because, you know, we chose buying the medication and not buying the heating oil.